Melisandre, the Red Priestess of Fire and Shadows. Prologue. In the shadow of the red flames, where whispers of prophecy intertwine with the scent of burning incense, she was born. Her name was Melisandre of Asshai, the Red Priestess, chosen by the Lord of Light. Her path was filled with mystery, death, and visions of the future. Many feared her, some worshipped her, and others despised her, but none could deny her influence on the course of Westeros history. Melisandre's story is one of unwavering faith, burning zeal, and the fine line between salvation and destruction. For her, every action, every sacrifice was justified by the will of Lawler, the Lord of Light. And yet, behind her piercing red eyes and cold confidence lay doubts and mistakes, which eventually determined her fate. The arrival of the Red Priestess. Melisandre first appeared in Westeros beside Stannis Baratheon, the stern and rigid lord who claimed the Iron Throne after Robert's death. She whispered to him that he was the prince that was promised, Azor Ahai reborn, destined to fight the darkness that threatened to swallow the world. Her fiery faith became Stannis' greatest weapon, and her mysterious powers, her shadows, her flames, her prophetic visions, both terrified and fascinated his followers. At Dragonstone, she burned statues of the seven gods, demanding loyalty to Lawler alone. Her zealotry struck fear into many, yet it was impossible to ignore her presence. Wherever she stood, flames flickered higher, and her voice carried the weight of unshakable conviction. The shadows of fire. Melisandre was not merely a priestess. She wielded powers that seemed beyond human comprehension. She gave birth to a shadow assassin, created of her very essence and Stannis' seed, which murdered Renly Baratheon in the night. With one strike, Stannis' strongest rival vanished. This act cemented her reputation as both a witch and a prophetess. Some saw her as a savior sent by the Lord of Light, while others saw only a monster cloaked in beauty and fire. Yet Melisandre herself believed she was fulfilling a sacred mission. Her faith was not for herself but for the destiny she had seen in the flames. The tragedy of Shireen. One of the darkest moments of her path was the sacrifice of Princess Shireen Baratheon, Stannis' only daughter. In the bitter cold before the march on Winterfell, Melisandre convinced Stannis that victory could only be achieved through sacrifice, the burning of royal blood. The little girl, innocent and kind, was led to the stake. Her screams echoed in the hearts of all who witnessed it, and forever in the hearts of viewers who saw this scene unfold. Stannis lost not only his daughter but also the loyalty of his soldiers and wife. Melisandre had been convinced the flames promised victory, but instead they brought ruin. For the first time, cracks appeared in her unwavering faith. Meeting Jon Snow. After Stannis' fall, Melisandre's path crossed with Jon Snow, the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. For a time, she seemed lost, drowning in despair. Her visions had betrayed her, her prophecies had failed. But then, Jon Snow was betrayed and murdered by his own men. And in that moment, the Lord of Light revealed a different destiny. It was Melisandre who, through prayer and ritual, brought Jon Snow back from death. With trembling voice and fading faith, she whispered incantations, and life returned to the man who would later play the central role in the battle against the Night King. This act forever bound her story with Jon's. The Long Night. When the Great War against the army of the dead came, Melisandre appeared at Winterfell. There, she used her powers to ignite the blades of the Dothraki and set fire to the trenches, slowing the endless horde of wights. Her presence seemed almost prophetic, as if she had always known this moment would come. In the Great Hall, she met Arya Stark, reminding her of the prophecy she had once spoken: brown eyes, green eyes, and blue eyes, eyes you will shut forever. Those words gave Arya the final push she needed to slay the Night King. Without Melisandre, the battle might have ended differently. The end of the Red Priestess. After the Night King's death, Melisandre knew her mission was complete. She walked out into the snowy night, removed the enchanted necklace that had sustained her youth and beauty, and collapsed into the snow as an old woman. Her long life ended quietly, far from the fire and screams of war. Her death was not accompanied by spectacle, but it carried deep symbolism. She had served the Lord of Light with devotion, made mistakes that cost countless lives, and yet, in the end, she played a vital role in saving humanity. Her journey was both tragic and glorious. The essence of Melisandre. Melisandre is a symbol of blind faith, of how conviction can both guide and mislead. Her path is filled with contradictions. She was both savior and executioner, both prophetess and deceiver. Her story asks a question: how far can one go in the name of belief, and do the ends justify the means? She was beautiful, terrifying, seductive, and merciless. Yet in her final moments, when her task was done, she appeared not as a goddess of fire but as a weary old woman who had given all she had to her cause. Epilogue. The Red Priestess of Asshai burned bright like the flames she worshipped. Her fire consumed many, and her shadows brought death, but without her, the world of men might have been lost to eternal night. Melisandre's tale is one of faith and folly, of fire and redemption. In the history of Westeros, she will forever remain the woman who walked through fire, who saw the future in the flames, and who gave her life to the Lord of Light.